All right, everybody. Today we got to all behave. We have a VIP in the house. Today's shir is chis for Akiva Simcha ben Fega, for Azivagum, for Chav Basim, Ahuv Basim, and Duvidari ben Pnina Pero. Let's go. What? We're starting Daf Chuv Vav Amud Aleph, midway down, and the deal closed. Yeah. All right. We're starting from Tanur Rabbanon, Shemer Eir. Tanur Rabbanon Shemer Eir. So we said yesterday, and this is the Chazar from yesterday, Tanur Rabbanon, the Rabbanon learned, Shemer Eir, the people who watch the city, B'yoyim, P'tur min HaSukkah b'yoyim. V'chavim b'layla. Those who watch the city by day, they're part from the Sukkah by day, but the Chayiv by night. Shemer Eir b'layla, P'tur min HaSukkah b'layla. They're part from the Sukkah at night, V'chavim b'yoyim. Basically, whenever you're watching, whenever you're on shift, you're potter. When you're not, you're Chayiv in the mitzvah Sukkah. Shemer Eir bein b'yoyim, uvein b'layla, P'tur min HaSukkah, bein b'yoyim, uvein b'layla. Very simple. They're working 24-hour shifts. They're good for 24 hours. Now, so I think Shai Kalman asked me yesterday, why did they add this case? If we know, we just said that if it's 24 hours, it's good. Why is this different? So I believe the reason why this is different is because by the ones who are Shemer Eir, that's not their standard to be there 24-hour shifts. But this job, the Shemer Ganis Pardesim, in general, it was a more, they were out there. They're out there for more consistent and more time. So maybe there would be different because they're stuck out there. Maybe they'd be chayiv. So Peturim ben bayom v'ben belad. They're pater day and night. They have the sukkah hasa v'leisu. So we ask, very simple. Okay, if they're taka there for a week at a time, let's say, the whole sikkah, bring your sikkah there, and you should live there. Meaning, make your sikkah out in the field. Abai says no. The reason why you shouldn't do that is because the Teshuv came to do, and we explained that you're supposed to have all the amenities that you would have in your house, and since it's not going to be so gishmak, and it's going to be a big tircha to bring it all from your house to however far it is, in that field, you don't have to. Rava says, Pirtze Kar Leganav. He gives a reason, because if you make a sukkah out in the field, and like we said yesterday, the field, let's say you put the sukkah in the middle of the field, and you have three-side sukkah, then the sides, when you're in the sukkah, so the ganav could come from behind, where you're not going to be able to see him, and steal.
Like a window second. So
now we're going to ask, my bena, the Gemara is going to ask, so what's the difference between Abai and Rava's thing, right? And that would also work if you have a window sticker and the guy's able to look. But the point is, it's creating a situation where you're giving him an opportunity to steal a blind spot. So Ike Benayu, the Kaminter, carry the peri, meaning that if, let's say, you only have one big pile of fruits, so this one big pile is in front of you, so yes, the sikkah, you're in the sikkah and you have three sides surrounded, but the side that's open is the side that has the pile. Therefore, the ganav is not going to be able to come take it. So that's the difference between Abaya and Rava on what they say. Now we're starting today's sugya, and it's cholim u'mishamshein. So to remember, what is this? This is the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that there are three things. It started off on Chaf Yamad Av Shuchim Mitzvah P'tur Min HaSukkah, cholim u'mishamshein P'tur Min HaSukkah. Now we're going on to the second part, that a choyle and his helper is part of the sukkah. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to analyze why is the choyle and his mishamish potter. And we're going to see why did the Mishnah have to bring it. We would understand it from the basic principle of mitzvah. Right. The guy's mitzvah, so he's potter. So why did it bring this extra case? And we're going to see at the end it's going to come out that it wanted to say that his mishamish is also potter. A mitzvah himself would be alone. Over here it wants to get to the point to tell you not just he, but the guy who's helping him. So, Tanur Rabbanon, the Rabbanon learned, Choyle Sha'amru, this Choyle that we're talking about in the Mishnah, is Lo Choyle Sheish B'Sakhan. It's not a Choyle that is life and death situation. We're talking about a Ela Afilu Choyle She'im B'Sakhan, even a Choyle that's not mamish life and death. Afilu Chash Be'enav, even if he has eye ache, V'afilu Chash B'Roisho, he has a headache. Amr B'Shem Ben Gamliel says, Pam Achas Chashti Be'enai. The one time I had weakness in my eyes. Bekesari, that's a place, the Kesari. V'hitir Rabbi Yossi B'Ribi, and Rabbi Yossi B'Ribi mattered me to sleep outside the sukkah. Lishan ani u'misham shaychutz sukkah. He gave us a heter for me and my mishamish to sleep outside the sukkah. Rashi says when it says B'Ribi over here, what's B'Ribi? B'Ribi means it's a title that you give to the person who's like the sharpest in the generation. Rashi says Yossi HaChacham, he was the sharp one of the Charaf Shebedorei. V'hu Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, who was a Tana Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, and happens to be going along with the theme of just giving a little recap on who these people were. He was a Tana who actually was a tanner. for a job, he would go and leather. They would take leather, he would skin animals, make leather, and he worked hard. He worked hard for a living, and he was actually a Tana, a tremendous Tana who was so sharp that it says whenever he argued with others, usually the halacha went like him because his depth of sharpness. Another very interesting thing about him is, I don't know if the Olam knows a song from Shul Memer, Tanya Omer B'Yosi Pamachas Nechnasti. Basically, he was one time traveling. Yeah.
Sing it after the sheep.
But you guys get the point. But basically, the song goes, and what's the point of the song? That he was one time traveling on the way. He was coming back to Yerushalayim, and there was a charva, of ruins, and he went in. And he went to daven mincha, or daven whatever. He went into daven, and Elyonavi showed up, stood outside the gate, and stood guard. And when he finished davening, he asked him, "Why did you daven here?" And a back and forth conversation. And in the conversation, Elyonavi asked him, "What did you hear?" So he said, I heard mamash beautiful voices saying, "Oy labanim," that got basically woe to the children who got kicked out of Eretz Yisrael and pushed away. He says, not just that. So Navi tells him back, it's not just that happened. The Rebbeinu Shalom also sings every day, and he says 3 times a day when Yidden are davening in shul in Beis Medrash, and they say Amin Yehesh Mirabba, he says that Ashrei HaMelech, praiseworthy is the king and fortunate is the king, talking about himself, whose Yidden, whose nation is saying Amin Yehesh Mirabba, and he gets happy and excited every time. So anytime the Olam knows the power of Amin Yehesh Mirabba, whenever we say it, just know the Rebbeinu Shalom is actually getting simcha from us. So now, back into the Gemara. So he gave a het to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Comes another case. Rav Shara Rav Acha Bardala. Rav Acha Bardala is a name. Bardala is a name. Labmagna bekilsa. He allowed him to sleep in a canopy. Besukah in the sukkah. Mishum baki, because of mosquitoes. Now, 1 second. We learned you're not allowed to sleep in a oil within a sukkah. So why did he sleep there? So Rav Acha Bardali basically said there is one shita that allows sort of a canopy, and this would be, according to one shita, not a good oil. And if it's not a good oil, I'd be out to the mitzvah. So because he was mosquitoes and he was mitzvah, once he was in the canopy, he was not mitzvah, but he's not in the sukkah. But according to that one shita, he'd be out to the mitzvah. Rava Sharle Rav Yachabar. The Rava allowed Rav Yachabar Lamagna Bar Mitzvah to sleep outside the sukkah. Mishum Sircha de Gargushta. Because of the smell of the Gargushta, basically, back in the day, their ground was outside, dirt. And what they would put a certain dirt or whatever on the ground. And when it would rain, it would be a terrible smell. So the people over there that lived there, sometimes it didn't bother them. So for them, they were not allowed to leave the sukkah. But for himself, which is why I didn't say, for himself, it mamash bothered him terribly. He was sensitive to it. So he was mitzvah, he was potter. So Rava allowed him according to his reasoning. Dama Rava mitzvah potter min sukkah. That a mitzvah is potter from a sukkah. Vaha anan tanam. But didn't we learn by our Mishnah choylin u'mishamshem p'tur min sukkah that the choylin u'mishamshem p'tur min sukkah? Why just him? And why do we need to say mitzvah? And why did our Mishnah need to bring this? Like we said at the beginning, we're going to now analyze why did the Mishnah add choylin u'mishamshem. So the answer is choyle in mitzvah loy. A choyle is potter, mitzvah not. What does it mean? So Amri choylehu u'mishamashav potter. So when is the person himself and his helper potter? When he's a choyle. Mitzvah who potter? He's potter u'misham shavloi, and the people who are helping him are not potter. Why? Because if they're not a mitzvah and it doesn't bother them, like this last case, they would have to remain in the sukkah even though he left. The choyle, his mishamish could come and help him. His helper could come with him.
If the leaves in the middle with the bathroom, his mishamish has to be kind of sicker.
No. If the choyle is if the one when he's helping him, when he's not helping him, he has a chiyuv of sukkah, of course. Why not? So let's do the chazar real quick. Choyle mishamshem. Ton Rabbanon, the Rabbanon learned.
What's the line of the choyle? He's napping.
If you're not sure, then you're probably a choyle. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I know. No, I'm just joking. You have to ask your rabbi. Ask your rabbi. He'll tell you. By the way, this is talking about light stuff. Even a headache. If you have a headache, you can leave. And if you have somebody bring you soup, food, whatever it is, that person.
Making a headache party.
No, but my point is, if you have a headache and somebody is coming, your son is coming to sit, You don't have to sit and eat alone. He can sit with you and help you. That's it. Again, I'm not saying any halachas. You have to ask your rabbi, but that's the concept. Tana Rabban, the Rabban learned. Chayla sha'amru, the chayla that we're talking about in Mishnah, loy chayla sheish by sakana, is not talking about a chayla that has a sakana. Ella afilu chayla she'en by sakana, even a chayla that does not have a sakana. Afilu chash be'enav, afilu chash barisha, even if he has an eye ache or a headache. Amr b'shem ben Gamliel says, Pamachas chashti be'enai, I had one time an eye ache. Big history, and I was in Kesari. V'heter Rabbi Yossi b'Ribi, and Rabbi Yossi b'Ribi, like we says, Rabbi Yossi b'Chalafta. He gave me a heter to lishen ani u'misham shaychut l'sukkah. Oh, you see here. If you're not sure, you ask your Rabbi. Your Rav tells you you're good to go. Rav Sharul, Rav Achabardula, Rav allowed Rav Achabardula, Lamagna Bekilsa to sleep on their canopy, Besukkah in the Sukkah, Mishum Baki, because of mosquitoes or bugs that were bothering him. Rav Shara Leil, Rav Achabar Ada, Rav allowed Rav Achabar Ada, Lamagna Bar Mitalata to sleep outside the Sukkah, Mishum Sircha Degagishta, because of the smell from the ground. Rav Letemei. So Rav is going according to his reasoning that what? Amar Rav Mitztar Potter Sukkah. The Rav says the Mitztar is Potter from the Sukkah. V'ha'anan tanan, but didn't we learn Chalinu Misham Shem P'tur Min HaSukkah? We already learned Chalinu Misham Shem P'tur Min HaSukkah. Why do we need the secondary case? So the answer is Chayla in Mitztar Loi. Are you coming to tell me, that only Chayla is Potter, and Mitztar is not really Potter? So you say no. It's the secondary people. So Ari Chayla who Umishamash of Turn. That when we say it's a Chayla, he and his Mishamash is Potter. Mitztar who Potter, Mishamash of Loi, and Rabbi Isai. Have a wonderful day. Continue the Chazara, and we will see you all tomorrow. Be'ezus Hashem, we may have something planned. We will let everybody know in the chat.